Brooklyn Independent Television.
For some time now, advocates have been waging a fight for more than 1 million workers throughout the city who don't have paid sick days. For those who do, in some cases, they can't use them to cover time off to care for a sick child. But a bill that's been stalled in the city council could change this policy. Sherry Carabin has more.
We need to make paid sick time a reality.
A call to action by members of a grassroots campaign who turned out at Greenwood Ball Field on October 16th to urge the City Council to pass the New York City Paid Sick Time Act.
We're in a care crisis. Few of us have the time and flexibility we need to care for our families without risking our economic security. We're crunched between the competing demands of work and our home. Let me give you a simple fact. 1.3 million New Yorkers lack paid sick time.
But the bill that was introduced in the summer of 2009 by Council member Gail Brewer would change that by setting guidelines for private sector employers with regard to paid sick time. Specifically, workers in companies with fewer than 20 employees would earn 1 hour of paid sick time for every 30 hours worked, adding up to as much as 40 hours or 5 days per year. Workers in larger companies could earn up to 9 days. It's a proposal that many council members support, including Brad Lander and Letitia James, who turned out at the recent Speak Out.
I don't know what I would do without it. And so how 1 million New Yorkers have to navigate through their jobs and through their lives and their kids being in school without being able to take a paid day off, I don't know. And it doesn't make any sense for the rest of us either. There's a lot of folks who work in restaurants, who work in retail stores. It's not healthy for them to have to come to work when they're sick. It's not good for anybody for them to have to come to work when their kids are sick. Their kids go to public schools. Other kids get sick.
Under the proposed law, sick time could be used by employees to cover their own illnesses or those of family members, something that this public school teacher cannot currently do.
We only get 10 sick days for the year, and a lot of times those sick days only apply to us as teachers, where we have to bring in doctor's notes. When the kids have been sick, I've been told that I can't use my kids' notes as, one of my sick days, and I've actually been docked for that day that I had to take off, where my kids had an earache, or I did have to take them to the doctors for high fevers and things like that.
Kensington mother Carrie Jackson was the lead parent organizer for the event.
The New York Paid Sick Time Act has been held up in City Council by the council speaker, and we feel that this will put a lot of pressure on her to let the bill come to a vote.
After hearing from other parents in the area, Jackson teamed up with A Better Balance, the Work and Family Legal Center, which fights for family-friendly work policies. While the organization's co-founder has sick time, she says as a parent of 3 children, she understands the plight of those who don't.
When my child had a medical emergency and was rushed to the hospital, I could be there for her. And I actually couldn't imagine what it would be like if I didn't have the ability to care for her and make sure she was healthy.
I understand that your organization runs a free legal clinic. What kind of cases do you hear about?
Recently, we heard from a single mom who took her severely asthmatic child to the hospital and was fired for her job for taking 1 day off. And this is just 2011, and you can't believe it happens.
When you don't feel well, do you want your mother to be able to stay home and take care of you and still get paid?
Yes, because it's important that she goes to work, but I also want her to be there with me.
In addition to the city bill, similar legislation to guarantee paid sick time is also before the labor committees of the State Assembly and Senate. As for the city's bill, council members are working on some amendments based on concerns raised by business owners.
We believe it's a very modest amount when you look at over the course of a whole year to give a worker 5 sick days, and not everyone will take all of them. But we're working hard to try to make sure that we make it work for business as best we can. So if workers have other paid time off, let's say if you get 2 weeks of paid time off for some mix of vacation and family days, then that's okay. Then you can count sick days as part of your other paid time off. So we're working hard to make it work as best we can for employers as well as for the workers. Hopefully before the end of the year we'll get an amended version together and then we can move quickly on it. Would love to have it in place before the spring.
In the meantime, activists are vowing to continue to hold rallies just like this one.
This movement will spread. It starts today in Kensington. Next week it starts in Fort Greene and in Clinton Hill, and then it starts in Bedford-Stuyvesant, and then in the Bronx, and then in Queens, and then in, believe it or not, Staten Island, and then all of us will celebrate one day sick leave bill.
This is Sherry Carabin reporting for Brooklyn Review.
Download this program's podcast on iTunes. Keywords Brooklyn Independent Television.